Some people make more money every year and still live with a quiet sense of panic. Others earn less, live more simply, and somehow carry a calm that cannot be purchased. You can often feel the difference without anyone saying a word. One person constantly checks prices, worries about the future, and feels emotionally trapped by the lifestyle they built. Another moves more slowly through life. They are not necessarily wealthy in the obvious sense, but they sleep peacefully, make decisions without desperation, and seem emotionally untouched by the pressure that consumes everyone else. What makes this so strange is that financial peace is rarely visible from the outside. Many people who appear successful are privately exhausted. They carry debt, comparison, and silent fear beneath carefully maintained appearances. Because money stress is not always caused by a lack of money. Sometimes it comes from identity, from emotional spending, from the endless pressure to prove that your life matters in a culture obsessed with visible success. Some people use money to impress the world around them. Others quietly use it to protect their freedom, their time, and their peace of mind. And that raises a deeper question that most people never stop long enough to ask. Why do some people remain financially anxious no matter how much they earn, while others seem emotionally steady with far less? Because the calmest people financially often think about money very differently from everyone else. Modern life quietly trains people to feel financially inadequate even when they are doing reasonably well. Stress around money has become so normalized that many people no longer question it. They assume adulthood simply feels this way, constantly calculating expenses in the background of every decision. Feeling guilty after small purchases while still spending impulsively on things that provide temporary emotional relief. Living with the strange contradiction of earning more than ever while somehow feeling less secure. A large part of this pressure comes from comparison. People are no longer comparing themselves only to neighbors or coworkers. They are comparing themselves to carefully edited lifestyles that appear endlessly online. Luxury vacations, perfectly designed homes, expensive dinners, effortless beauty, early retirement. Over time, people begin confusing lifestyle with identity. A nicer car starts feeling like proof of worth. An expensive neighborhood starts feeling emotionally necessary. And slowly, financial pressure becomes emotional pressure. Many Americans quietly live inside this cycle for years. They maintain appearances while carrying debt, exhaustion, and fear underneath. They tell themselves that peace will finally arrive after the next raise, the next purchase, or the next milestone. But lifestyle inflation grows faster than satisfaction. More income often creates more obligations, not more calm. And eventually, some people begin realizing that peace and performance rarely grow together. Financially peaceful people tend to experience money differently because they stop tying identity to appearance. They are less interested in looking successful and more interested in feeling stable. What they value most is often invisible from the outside. Predictability, breathing room, the ability to absorb uncertainty without panic, the freedom to make decisions slowly instead of desperately. This changes the emotional role money plays in their lives. They stop using spending as emotional validation. They no longer need luxury to reassure themselves that they matter. That pressure to constantly prove progress begins fading because their sense of worth becomes less dependent on external signals. In many ways, financial peace begins when people stop asking, "How does my life look?" and start asking, "How does my life actually feel?" There is a quiet confidence in people who no longer need constant evidence of success. They do not always chase the newest trends or upgrade every part of their lives simply because they can. They understand that insecurity is expensive. It encourages emotional purchases, impulsive upgrades, and lifestyles built around approval rather than sustainability. True security often feels surprisingly quiet. It does not demand attention. It creates calm. And the less people need money to impress others, the more peacefully they tend to live. That peace is usually built through habits that appear emotionally unremarkable from the outside. Patience, restraint, consistency, the ability to tolerate delayed gratification in a culture designed around immediacy. Financially peaceful people are often less reactive emotionally, and that changes how they spend, save, and make decisions. Modern culture rewards stimulation. Everything moves quickly. Trends change constantly. Convenience is prioritized over patience. Emotional spending becomes normal because people are exhausted, overstimulated, and searching for relief. A stressful week turns into impulsive purchases. A difficult season becomes justification for emotional consumption. Many people spend not because they truly need something, but because they momentarily want to feel different. Financially peaceful individuals tend to slow this process down. They think more carefully before upgrading their lifestyles. They avoid building financial obligations that permanently increase pressure. Their choices are less emotional and more intentional. This does not make their lives boring. It makes their lives stable. There is also a form of self-respect hidden inside discipline. Emotionally regulated people naturally make more sustainable financial decisions because they are less controlled by impulse, insecurity, or comparison. They can tolerate simplicity without feeling deprived. They can resist trends without feeling excluded. And over time, those invisible habits quietly reshape an entire life. One of the most profound effects of financial stability is the emotional breathing room it creates. Financial peace changes the nervous system. It reduces panic. It allows people to think more clearly. Decisions become less rushed because survival no longer feels emotionally immediate. This kind of stability creates freedom in subtle but powerful ways. A person with emotional and financial breathing room can leave a toxic work environment without collapsing psychologically. They can handle temporary setbacks without feeling destroyed by them. They can tolerate uncertainty because their lives are not built entirely on fragile appearances. This is why many quietly wealthy people value privacy. They understand that public performance creates emotional pressure. The more people feel required to maintain a certain image, the more trapped they often become by that image. Quiet wealth removes much of this tension because it prioritizes freedom over visibility. And eventually, luxury itself begins changing psychologically. Real luxury becomes waking up without dread, having enough time to think clearly, being able to say no without fear, living without constant emotional urgency. Sometimes the strongest financial position looks almost ordinary from the outside, because invisible freedom rarely needs to announce itself. Financially peaceful people also think differently about time. They tend to think in decades instead of emotional moments. While emotionally reactive people optimize for immediate feelings, financially calm people optimize for long-term flexibility. They are willing to sacrifice short-term appearance for future freedom. This is why many financially stable individuals continue living modestly even after their income increases. They understand how easily lifestyle upgrades can become emotional traps. Every unnecessary obligation narrows flexibility. Every ego-driven purchase quietly increases dependence on future income. Long-term thinkers resist this pressure because they are building lives designed to remain stable over time. They focus less on visible status and more on protecting optionality. The ability to change careers, the ability to move, the ability to slow down later in life, the ability to survive uncertainty without panic. Freedom grows slowly and quietly. Most of the time, it does not look impressive while it is being built. In fact, the people with the most peace financially are often the least interested in proving they have money. And beneath all of this is an even deeper emotional truth. Many people are not truly chasing luxury. They are chasing relief from fear. Fear of instability, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. Expensive lifestyles often become emotional armor protecting fragile identities. Financial peace changes this relationship completely. People begin comparing themselves less because their identity becomes more internally grounded. They stop needing constant evidence that they are succeeding. Simplicity no longer feels embarrassing because self-worth is no longer tied so tightly to appearances. This creates a different kind of confidence, a quieter one. The ability to remain calm during uncertainty. The ability to tolerate ordinary moments without feeling emotionally deprived. The ability to enjoy privacy instead of constantly seeking recognition. True wealth often feels emotionally invisible because it exists internally before it appears externally. It is reflected in calm behavior, slower decision-making, and reduced emotional volatility. Quiet confidence replaces financial theater. And the real transformation happens when money stops controlling a person's emotional state. At some point, financially peaceful people stop trying to feel enough through visible success. Instead, they begin building internal stability. Wealth becomes less connected to status and more connected to autonomy. They compare less, move slower, spend more intentionally, define success privately rather than socially. This shift changes what feels valuable. Peace becomes more attractive than luxury. Simplicity starts feeling emotionally rich instead of limiting. Privacy feels luxurious because it protects mental clarity and emotional calm. Emotional maturity changes financial behavior in ways that are difficult to fake. Restraint stops feeling restrictive and begins feeling empowering. Patience feels intelligent instead of passive. Calm becomes aspirational because so few people genuinely possess it. And perhaps this is the deepest form of invisible wealth. Not simply money itself, but the ability to remain emotionally steady around money. The ability to live without constantly proving your worth to the world. Once someone experiences that kind of emotional freedom, they rarely want to return to financial performance. In the end, financial peace is not simply about how much money someone has. It is about how much fear still controls their life. Two people can stand in completely different emotional worlds while earning similar incomes. One lives in constant tension, quietly overwhelmed by appearances, comparison, and the pressure to maintain a version of success that never truly feels secure. The other moves through life more calmly, not because life is perfect, but because their sense of safety no longer depends entirely on what the world sees. That is why financial peace is deeply psychological before it is numerical. Long before it appears in a bank account, it appears in behavior, in slower decisions, in emotional restraint, in the ability to tolerate simplicity without feeling diminished by it, in the freedom to stop performing success for strangers. Over time, the most valuable forms of wealth become almost invisible. The ability to sleep peacefully at night, the quiet confidence of knowing your worth is no longer tied to constant external validation. And perhaps that is the emotional truth many people spend years searching for without realizing it. The wealthiest feeling in life may simply be safety, not luxury, not attention, not endless consumption. Just the calm feeling that your life belongs to you again. Financially peaceful people are not always the ones with the most money. Often, they are the people who no longer need money to constantly prove their worth. Perhaps the highest form of wealth is not having more, but finally feeling that you are already enough.